The two red moons hung low in the sky like watching eyes. Their dim light spread across the wild alien jungle, turning every leaf and branch into sharp shadows. Strange roars echoed from far away, mixing with the heavy beat of drums. The forest felt alive, angry, and hungry tonight. Deep in the center of the jungle, a group of alien hunters gathered around a wide stone pit. Their skin glowed faintly in the moonlight, and their tall bodies moved with harsh, jerking motions. They beat their spears on the ground and shouted in a rough, excited rhythm. Inside the pit was a small alien girl named Lyra. She was tiny, thin, and shaking. Her bright blue eyes shone with fear as she stared at the tall walls around her. She pressed herself into the corner, trying to hide from the shadows moving below. The beasts inside the pit, huge, wolf-like creatures with glowing fangs, paced back and forth, waiting for the signal to attack. Lyra's breath came out fast. She hugged her knees and tried not to cry, but a small whimper slipped out. The hunters laughed at the sound. They enjoyed her fear. To them, she was not a child. She was a curse. A bad omen. Something to be removed. One hunter raised his spear and shouted, "Let the beasts have her. End the curse before it spreads." The crowd answered with loud cheers. But up in the trees, hidden by leaves and darkness, someone else watched the scene with different eyes. A human. His name was Marcus Hall. His armor was scratched and dirty. His face was tired. His left arm was bandaged with rough cloth. He had been traveling alone for days, far from any human outpost. He was injured, exhausted, and outnumbered. But when he saw the little girl trembling in the pit, something inside him refused to step back. He climbed down from the tree quietly. His boots touched the ground without a sound. The hunters did not notice him at first. They were too busy shouting, too hungry for the kill. Below, the beasts finally caught Lyra's scent. One of them snarled and jumped forward, claws digging into the stone. The girl gasped and stumbled backward, sliding on the dirt. Another beast crouched low, ready to leap. The hunters leaned forward with excitement. Then a loud, sharp sound cut through the night. A human voice. "Stop!" Every hunter froze. Every beast turned its head, and Lyra slowly lifted her eyes toward the edge of the pit. Marcus stepped out of the shadows, holding a plasma pistol in his right hand. The weapon hummed softly, glowing pale blue. His face was calm, but his eyes were firm, cold like steel, unshaken even under dozens of alien stares. The hunters stared at him in shock. Humans were rare on this planet, and feared. They were known for their strange strength and unbreakable will. "What is this?" growled the tribe leader. "Human, this is not your matter." Marcus did not answer. His gaze moved to Lyra. She looked so small, so helpless, her tiny hands gripping the dirt. He stepped closer to the pit. One of the hunters raised a spear, warning him to stop. Marcus did not even glance at the weapon. He spoke again, voice steady. "She's a child." Those words made the hunters laugh bitterly. "She is a curse." One shouted, "She brings death to our tribe." Another yelled. Marcus ignored them. He jumped down into the pit. The hunters gasped. The beasts growled, ready to strike. Lyra covered her face with her hands, certain this stranger would die. But Marcus stood firm, gun aimed, feet grounded, body tense like a trained soldier ready for war. The beasts circled him, snarling. The hunters leaned forward, breath held. Lyra peeked through her fingers, eyes wide. A single thought filled her trembling heart. Why would a human risk his life for someone like her? And above the pit, the red moons watched, waiting for the answer. The jungle fell silent for a long moment after Marcus jumped into the pit. Even the distant night creatures seemed to stop moving, as if the entire world was holding its breath. The hunters stared down with wide eyes. No human had ever entered a monster pit before. None of them understood why he did it, or what he thought he could prove. The beasts understood faster than anyone else. Their glowing eyes sharpened. They growled deep in their throats, their claws scraping long marks into the stone floor. They sensed two things clearly. The human smelled of blood from old wounds, and he was standing between them and their prey. Marcus did not move at first. He kept his body still and balanced, feet apart, pistol aimed. His heart beat heavy in his chest, but his face showed no fear. He had fought in worse places before: ruined space stations, burning colonies, frozen wastelands. He knew how to control fear. He knew how to use it. Beside him, Lyra pressed herself against the wall, shaking. She had never seen a human before today. All she knew were the stories. Humans were dangerous, loud, fast, and full of fire. But this one did not look angry. He looked tired, sad even, like someone who had lost too much. One of the beasts finally lunged. It leapt fast, jaws open wide. Lyra screamed, but Marcus moved quicker. He fired once. The blue blast hit the beast in midair, knocking it sideways. It crashed into the stone wall with a sharp yelp. The hunters roared in surprise. Another beast rushed forward. Marcus sidestepped, grabbed it by the back of the neck, and slammed it down with surprising strength. His movements were smooth, like he had trained for this his whole life. Dust rose around him as he fired again, forcing the remaining beasts to step back. Up above, the tribe leader slammed the end of his spear to the ground. "Human!" he shouted. "You do not know what you protect." Marcus did not look up. "She is a child," he said again, voice steady. "She is cursed." The leader barked. "Born under the dead moon. She brings sickness to our lands. Saving her is forbidden." Marcus did not accept that. Cursed or not, she was small, helpless, and afraid. He could not watch her die, not after everything he had seen in the war, not after all the lives he had failed to save. He would not fail. Another child. He pressed the button on his wrist device. The pistol recharged with a soft click. The beast circled him again, slower now, watching him with new caution. Lyra stared at Marcus, amazement slowly replacing fear. Why help me?" she whispered. Marcus did not take his eyes off the beasts. "Because someone should," he said simply. Up above, the hunters argued loudly among themselves. Some shouted that the human was insane. Others warned that killing a human might bring soldiers from the sky. A few even wondered if the human saw something they did not. But the tribe leader raised his hand and silenced them all. "Human," he called down, "leave the girl and climb out. We will allow you to go free." Marcus glanced at Lyra. She was barely 10 years old, maybe younger. Her small hands trembled. Her thin body shook in the cold pit. If he left, the beasts would tear her apart within seconds. "No," he answered. The tribe leader bared his teeth. "Then you choose death." Marcus didn't reply. Instead, he moved fast and fierce. The beasts attacked again, and the pit burst into chaos. Plasma fire lit the walls. Dust filled the air. Lyra ducked and covered her ears as roars and blasts echoed around her. Above, the hunters watched in disbelief. This human fought like a storm. And as the battle raged, one thought spread through the tribe, slow, cold, and frightening. If one human could fight like this, what were the rest of his kind capable of? Dust still drifted in the air as Marcus climbed out of the monster pit with Lyra clinging to his back. His arms burned from the fight, and his lungs pulled for air. But he didn't stop. The hunters were shouting behind him, confused, angry, preparing their next move. They would not let a human walk away with the cursed child. Not without a fight. Not without blood. Marcus knew this. That was why he didn't look back. The jungle greeted them like a giant shadow. Tall trees twisted into shapes he had never seen before. Vines hung like snakes. Flowers glowed with strange colors, blue, purple, gold. A warm fog rose from the ground, carrying the strange scent of wild fruit and danger. Lyra held tightly to Marcus's shoulder. Her breathing was fast and shaky, but she stayed quiet. Even frightened, she understood that silence meant survival. Now. Marcus moved quickly, using the darkness as his shield. Every few steps he checked behind them. The hunters were not close yet, but he could hear faint drums. And drums meant they were tracking him. Which way? He asked softly. Lyra pointed with a trembling hand. North, toward the broken towers. Why there? It is safer. The beasts do not go near the old ruins. That was enough for Marcus. He adjusted his grip on her and headed north. The ground soon became uneven. Strange plants brushed against his legs, their leaves cool and soft like thin skin. Some shrank back when he touched them. Others expanded, blooming with light. A giant insect buzzed past his ear with wings as long as his hand. Its eyes glowed like tiny lanterns. This planet was beautiful, but terrifying. Lyra watched Marcus with wide eyes. She still didn't understand him. No one had ever defended her. Number one had ever risked anything for her. But this human, wounded, alone, far from his people, carried her as if she mattered. Marcus noticed her staring. You okay? She nodded a little. You are not like the others. What others? The hunters, the tribe, even strangers. They all look at me with fear. They say I bring bad luck. Marcus stepped over a fallen log. I don't believe in bad luck. Then why do they hate me? He didn't answer right away. He had seen many worlds, many cultures. Some used fear to control. Some used belief to explain what they didn't understand. But telling that to a child wouldn't help. Instead, he said, sometimes people are scared of what they don't know. But I am just me, she whispered. I know. They moved deeper into the jungle. Strange lights flickered between the trees, tiny creatures floating like stars. Marcus's boots sank into soft moss. Lyra guided him around dangerous plants, warning him when the ground grew thin. Even with her fear, she knew the jungle better than anyone he had met. But danger was never far. A low growl echoed ahead. Marcus stopped instantly, raising his weapon. A dark shape moved through the fog, long, heavy, breathing slow. The creature's yellow eyes glowed brighter than the moon's. Lyra gripped Marcus's arm. Do not shoot, she whispered. That one hunts by sound. Marcus slowly lowered the gun. He took a long breath and stepped backward, carefully, quietly. The creature sniffed the air, confused, then turned away and disappeared into the darkness like smoke. Marcus exhaled, relieved. Good call. Lyra gave a tiny smile, her first since the pit. But the peace did not last long. A loud horn blasted from far behind them. The hunters had found their trail. Marcus tightened his jaw. We move faster, Lyra pointed again. The towers are close. We can hide there. He carried her and ran through vines and roots, heart pounding, breath sharp. The jungle thinned. Ancient stone shapes rose ahead, tall broken towers covered in moss, glowing with old alien symbols. Lyra whispered with hope, we made it. But Marcus didn't slow down, because behind them, the hunters' torches were already lighting the trees, and the chase was only beginning. Asterisk. The ruins rose before them like sleeping giants, broken towers leaning against each other, cracked walls, covered in glowing vines and old metal plates half buried under roots. A cold wind moved through the gaps, carrying a soft humming sound, like a long-forgotten machine trying to breathe again. Marcus slowed down at last. His muscles ached, and every breath felt sharp, but he still placed Lyra gently on her feet before he checked the area. He scanned for movement, listening for hunters, beasts, anything. The jungle behind them glowed with distant torchlight, but the ruins seemed quiet for now. Lyra stepped forward and touched the surface of one tower. The wall responded with a faint blue shimmer. You know this place? Marcus asked. Yes, she said quietly. My mother brought me here once. Marcus raised a brow. Why? Lyra hesitated. Her small fingers brushed the glowing vines as if searching for courage. She said, This place remembers things. He didn't understand what she meant, but he knew better than to rush a frightened child. He followed her deeper between the ruins, where the towers formed a half-circle around a small stone platform. There, Lyra reached into the pouch tied at her waist. She pulled out the little device Marcus had noticed earlier. In the soft moonlight, it looked simple, just a smooth silver cube with a single glowing line across it. But when she placed it on the stone platform, the air shifted. A deep echo vibrated through the tower walls. Marcus stepped closer. What is that? It belonged to my mother, she said. She told me to keep it safe. The cube flickered, then opened on its own like petals of light unfolding. A hologram shot upward, a spinning map made of stars. Hundreds of tiny lights formed a spiral shape above the platform. Marcus's eyes widened. A star map? Lyra nodded. Yes, but not just stars. It shows places, worlds. Marcus circled the platform slowly, studying the projection. He had seen human maps before, military maps, colony maps. But this one was older, deeper, filled with symbols and paths he didn't recognize. What does it mean? He asked. It shows a world that is safe, Lyra whispered. A world where my people can live. My mother said our home is dying. The sky grows weaker every year, and storms come faster than before. Marcus frowned. He had heard rumors while traveling, strange energy cracks, disappearing rivers, unstable weather. He didn't know it was this planet. Lyra continued, voice trembling. The tribe does not want to believe it. They say the planet is strong. They say the storms are just anger from the gods. They fear change. They fear leaving. So why do they hate you? Lyra looked down at her hands. When I was born, the dead moon was in the sky. They say anyone born under it brings disaster. When storms grew worse, they blamed me. She touched the star map. My mother tried to protect me, but they took her away. They said she lied. They said she brought fear into the tribe. Before she disappeared, she gave me this device and told me to run. Marcus felt something twist inside his chest, not anger. Something heavier. So the map, he said softly, it proves your mother was right. Yes, she whispered. The tribe wants it because they think it gives power. They don't understand what it really shows. They think I am cursed because I hold it. Marcus knelt to meet her eyes. You are not cursed. But no, his voice was firm. You're important. You carry something that can save your people. Lyra blinked, surprised by the strength in his tone. No one had ever spoken to her like that. Above them, the star map pulsed, glowing brighter. Marcus stood up again and looked toward the jungle. The torchlights were moving closer. The hunters had found their trail. He tightened his grip on his weapon. Lyra, he said, we're not just running now. We're protecting something bigger. She nodded, clutching the cube to her chest. The ruins hummed louder, like ancient machines. Awakening. And Marcus knew one thing for certain. This little girl wasn't just a child anymore. She was the key to a future her tribe was too afraid to see. The humming ruins glowed softly as Marcus and Lyra stood on the stone platform, the star map above. Them spun like a sky full of tiny suns. But the peaceful moment did not last long. A loud crack echoed through the jungle, then another. Marcus turned sharply. The torchlights that had been distant were now moving too fast. The hunters were running, and they were coming with purpose. Lyra, he said, lowering his voice, we need to move. But before they could take a single step, a long horn blasted through the night. Its sharp sound bounced off the towers and filled the air with dread. Lyra jumped. Her small hand grabbed Marcus's sleeve. They found us, she whispered. Yes. Marcus answered. But they're not alone. Shapes appeared between the trees, dozens of alien hunters, their tall silhouettes outlined by firelight. Each one held a spear tipped with glowing crystal. Their eyes burned with anger and fear. And at the front stood the tribe leader, the same hunter who had ordered Lyra's death. His voice thundered through the ruins. "Human, you have broken our laws. Release the cursed child." Marcus stepped slightly in front of Lyra. "She's not cursed. She brings ruin," the leader shouted. "Storms follow her, our hunters fall, our children grow sick." Marcus tightened his jaw. "That's because your world is changing. She's not the cause. She's the warning." The tribe leader slammed his spear into the ground. A spark burst from the tip. "Silence. You know nothing of our world." Marcus didn't argue. There was no point. People who feared truth always shouted louder. The hunters began to spread out, circling the ruins. Lyra looked around desperately. "Marcus, they won't let us go." "I know," he said. "Stay behind me." The torches flickered. In the wind, the hunters chanted low, a rhythm of anger. The ground seemed to vibrate under their steps. Finally, the tribe leader raised his hand. "Take the girl," he commanded. Everything exploded into motion. Hunters rushed forward from all sides. Marcus fired his plasma pistol, the blue light cutting through the darkness. He hit the ground running, pulling Lyra behind a broken wall. Spears slammed into stone, sending chips flying. Marcus grabbed one spear mid-air and snapped it in half, but the hunters kept coming. Two jumped from above. Marcus rolled aside, pushing Lyra clear. He fired again, forcing the attackers back, but more climbed over the ruins like silent shadows. Lyra ducked behind rubble. "Marcus, there are too many." "I noticed," he muttered, parrying a spear strike with the metal edge of his gun. Every movement hurt, his wounds burned, his muscles screamed. But he refused to fall. He blocked, dodged, fired, and protected Lyra again and again. One hunter managed to grab Lyra's wrist. She cried out as he tried to drag her away. Marcus didn't think, he reacted. He slammed into the hunter, knocking him down with the force of a falling tree. He pulled Lyra close and whispered, "I've got you." But the tribe leader stepped forward now. His spear glowed brighter than the others. Energy crackled along its edge. "Human," he growled. "You fight well, but you cannot win. You stand alone." Marcus wiped blood from his cheek. "I'm not the one afraid." That angered the leader. He charged. Marcus fired a shot. The leader deflected it with his spear, sending the blast into a tower wall. The shockwave made the ruins tremble. The star map above them flickered as if confused by the chaos. The leader struck again. Marcus blocked with his arm guard, sparks flying. The force pushed him back. Lyra screamed his name, "Stay behind the stones." Marcus shouted. But the leader didn't aim for Marcus this time. He turned toward Lyra. "No." Marcus lunged, tackling him off course. They rolled across broken stone, each strike echoing like thunder. Hunters watched with shocked eyes. No outsider had ever dared touch their leader. Marcus kicked him away and stood between him and Lyra once more, breathing hard. "You will not touch her," Marcus said, voice low and steady. The leader rose slowly, fury burning in his eyes, and the hunters closed in again, their torches lighting the ruins like a ring of fire. The battle was far from over, and Marcus knew he would have to stand alone for as long as it took. The ruins shook with every strike, every scream, every clash between Marcus and the hunters. Dust fell from the cracked walls. Vines trembled. The glowing patterns carved into the stone pulsed like a beating heart. Something old, something sleeping, was beginning to stir. Marcus blocked another spear swing, twisting the weapon out of a hunter's hands. He kicked the attacker away and fired a short burst from his pistol. Blue light flashed. The air burned with heat, but even with all his strength, Marcus felt himself slowing. His arms grew heavy. His shoulder throbbed where a spear had grazed him. The hunters came in waves, relentless, angry, desperate. Still, he did not move from Lyra's side. Behind him, Lyra crouched near the stone platform. She clutched her mother's star map device, eyes wide with fear and determination. She knew Marcus could not hold the hunters forever. She knew they would overwhelm him soon. She knew what her mother had told her before she disappeared. If the tribe turns against you, go to the ancient towers. They will listen. Lyra looked up at the tallest tower. Its top was broken, but its center glowed faintly with old blue light. The same light the device carried. Her heart pounded. She crawled toward the platform. Lyra! Marcus shouted, blocking 3 hunters at once. Stay down. I must try, she called back. Try what? He yelled, firing another shot. The tower knows this device. It remembers my mother. Marcus didn't understand, but he trusted her. Hunter broke past Marcus and lunged toward Lyra. Marcus shoved himself between them, catching the hunter by the collar and throwing him aside like a rag. He turned back to Lyra, breath shaking. Do it fast, he shouted. Lyra nodded, her small hands trembling. She placed the cube into the carved slot at the center of the stone platform. At first, nothing happened. Then the ground rumbled. A deep vibration rolled through the ruins, traveling through the towers like a pulse. The hunters paused. Their eyes darted nervously. The tribe leader gripped his spear tighter. What is she doing? Someone shouted. The glowing vines across the towers brightened, turning from soft blue to fierce white. The star map shot upward again, but this time it expanded, growing wider, brighter, more alive. Old symbols appeared in the air, spinning around Lyra like floating stones. The tribe leader's face went pale. She awakens the memory of the ancients. Lyra pressed her hand onto the cube. The tower responded instantly. A column of light exploded upward from its center, shooting into the sky and painting the clouds a brilliant blue. The air vibrated with a voice, deep, slow, echoing through time. It spoke in an ancient alien language, but the meaning flowed into every mind, even Marcus's. The world is failing. This star map carries the path. Follow the way of life, or fall with the dying land. The hunters stumbled back. Fear twisted their faces. They had believed Lyra brought doom, but now the tower itself revealed the truth. She had carried hope all along. Lyra's eyes filled with tears. She spoke softly to the tower, voice quivering. Show them. Show my tribe the safe world. The star map shifted. The symbols aligned. A bright green planet appeared at the center of the projection, alive, rich, untouched. Rivers shone like silver veins. Forests spread like oceans of emerald. A gasp rippled through the hunters. Some dropped their spears. Others fell to their knees. None could deny what they saw. Marcus stepped closer to Lyra, resting a hand gently on her shoulder. You did it. But the moment of peace did not last. The tribe leader, trembling with rage and fear, refused to believe. No, this is a trick, a lie of the ancients. He raised his glowing spear and charged at Lyra. Lyra, move! Marcus shouted, but the tower reacted first. Light erupted outward, forming a shield of pure energy around Lyra. The leader's spear hit the barrier and shattered like glass. The shockwave blasted him backward. Silence fell. Every hunter stared at the girl, now glowing softly with the same blue light as the towers. Lyra stood slowly, her fear replaced by a quiet strength. In that moment, the tribe understood. She was not cursed. She was chosen. Asterisk. The ruins glowed with a soft blue light long after the shockwave faded. Dust drifted slowly from the shattered stones, swirling like tiny stars around Lyra. She stood in the center of the light, her small form glowing gently, her eyes reflecting the bright planet shown in the star map above her. No one moved. Not The hunters. Not the tribe leader, who lay stunned on the ground. Not even Marcus, who stood breathing hard, his body bruised and tired, but still ready to defend her if needed. The ancient tower hummed like a giant heart waking from centuries of sleep. Every vine, every stone, every carving pulsed with the same rhythm. It was as if the entire place recognized Lyra, now recognized her as someone meant to be here. Slowly, Marcus lowered his weapon. Lyra turned toward him. Her voice was small but steady. "The tower protected me." Marcus managed a tired smile. "Seems it knows who you are." Behind them, the tribe stirred. Some hunters helped each other stand. Others dropped to their knees. The fear in their eyes had changed, no longer the fear of a curse, but the fear of truth. The truth they had refused to see. The tribe leader rose last. His spear was broken, and blue dust covered his armor. His hands shook, not from battle, but from something deeper: shock, disbelief, pride breaking inside him. "You," he whispered. "At Lyra. You are not a curse." Lyra looked down, unsure how to respond. She had dreamed of this moment for years, but now that it was here, she felt more tired than triumphant. But she did not have to speak. Marcus stepped forward. "She's a child," he said softly, "but she carries more courage than any of you." The hunters shifted uncomfortably. None argued. The tribe leader lowered his head in shame. "We feared what we did not understand. We chased shadows. And we nearly destroyed our future." Lyra hugged herself, her small fingers trembling. "I didn't want to bring fear. I only wanted to help. I only wanted someone to believe me." Marcus knelt beside her. "I believed you." Lyra's eyes filled with tears, not of fear this time, but of relief. Marcus gently placed a hand on her shoulder. She leaned closer, trusting him completely. The tribe leader stepped forward and knelt. It was a gesture of deep respect among his people. "Child of the ancients, forgive us." Lyra hesitated. She had every reason to be angry, every reason to turn away. But she remembered her mother's words. Hope can only live where anger ends. So she nodded. "If you walk the path the tower shows, our people can live." The leader bowed his head. "We will." Other hunters followed, kneeling one by one, forming a ring around her. Marcus watched quietly. He had seen many worlds, many cultures, but never one bow to a child. The star map above slowly dimmed, leaving only the glowing green planet shining at its center. The message was clear: leave this dying world. Follow the path, live. As the light faded, the ruins became calm again. Lyra turned to Marcus. "Will you come with us? To the new world?" Marcus looked at the jungle, then at the towers, then at the sky. He had no home left to return to, no family waiting, no mission except survival. But here was a purpose. A child who needed protection, a tribe that needed guidance, and a future worth fighting for. He nodded slowly. "Yes, I'll help you get there." Lyra smiled, the kind of smile that made the ruins seem brighter. The tribe leader approached Marcus. "Human, you fought alone against all of us. You protected what we feared. We owe you our lives, our future, and our path." Marcus shook his head. "You don't owe me anything." But the leader disagreed. "You stood alone when no one else would." Marcus looked at Lyra. She wasn't alone. Not tonight. As the ancient tower's last lights dimmed, Marcus lifted Lyra gently onto his shoulder. The tribe gathered behind them, silent and humbled. Together, they began walking toward a new beginning, toward a world waiting in the stars. And so the story of one human who stepped forward became the story of a people saved. Because sometimes, one act of courage is enough to change an entire world. Asterisk.